Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever been in the middle of a full-blown meltdown with your child and just thought, what is going on in there? Well, today, we're going to break down the actual neuroscience behind those huge feelings. And even better, I'm going to give you a super simple, really powerful tool you can start using right away to turn those moments of conflict into moments of connection. All right, let's jump in. Okay, first, let's try a quick little exercise just to show you something wild about your brain. Go ahead, raise your hand up. Now, make a little circle with your thumb and index finger, just like this. You got it? Perfect. Okay, now really quickly, I want you to bring that circle to your chin. Ready? Go. Okay, now look where your hand is. I bet you brought it to your cheek, right? Just like I did. But hang on, I said chin. So what just happened there? So, what was that all about? Well, you just felt the power of your brain's mirror neurons. It turns out that a whopping 50 to 80% of us will automatically copy the action we see instead of following the instruction we hear. It's this powerful, almost magnetic, automatic thing our brains do. And these mirror neurons, they're exactly what they sound like. They're these amazing brain cells that fire up both when you do something and when you just watch someone else do that exact same thing. They're basically the whole reason we can imitate and feel empathy. It's how we learn and connect with each other, right from the very beginning. And you see this in action all the time. It's why yawning is so contagious. You see a yawn, you just have to yawn back. It's why you might get all choked up during a sad movie. Your brain is literally mirroring the feelings you see on screen. It's even why a baby opens their little mouth when they see that spoon coming. Now, this mirroring is amazing for connection, but as we're about to see, it can also get us into a whole lot of trouble. So let's get to the main event here. There's a brilliant neuropsychiatrist named Dr. Daniel Siegel, and he came up with this incredibly simple way to understand the brain. And all you need is your own hand. Seriously, this little model is a total game changer, especially for parents. Okay, let's build it together. Hold up your hand, your wrist, and the palm of your hand. That's your brainstem. This is the oldest, most primitive part of your brain. Some people call it the reptilian brain. It's basically running the show in the background, handling all the stuff that keeps you alive, your breathing, your heart rate, all of it, without you having to think about it for a second. Awesome. Now, tuck your thumb right into the middle of your palm. This is your limbic system. This is your emotional headquarters. It's where big feelings live, where memories are stored, and, this is key, it's home to your survival alarm system, fight, flight, or freeze. This is your downstairs brain, and its main job is to react fast to keep you safe. And finally, go ahead and fold your fingers down right over your thumb, like you're making a fist. This part, the fingers, that's your cortex, your upstairs brain. This is where all the fancy stuff happens. Logic, reason, planning, problem solving. And see your fingertips, right at the front? That represents the most important part for us today, the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the wise leader or the CEO of your brain. Its job is to manage all those big emotions coming from the downstairs brain. So right there in your hand, you have a perfect model of a calm, connected brain. But what happens when we get overwhelmed by a huge emotion, like anger or fear? Well, that's when we flip our lid. And this is the most important part of the whole model. When your fist is closed, your brain is working together. The logical upstairs part is connected to the emotional downstairs part. But when you get stressed or overwhelmed, your fingers fly up. You flipped your lid. That wise leader, the prefrontal cortex, has gone completely offline. You literally can't access logic or reason anymore. You are now being run entirely by that downstairs survival brain, and you only have 3 choices: fight, flight, or freeze. So why do our kids seem to flip their lids all the time? Well, it's not because they're being bad. It's just biology. Look at this timeline. That wise leader part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, it doesn't even begin to get wired up for emotional control until around age 5. The whole thing is basically a construction zone all through childhood and the teenage years. In fact, it's not fully finished until we're about 25. So a kid's brain just isn't built to handle big emotions like an adult's brain. They are biologically designed to flip their lids. All right, theory's great, but let's see how this plays out in a situation I am sure we've all been in. Let's call it the cookie conflict. So, picture this. It's almost lunchtime. Your child walks up and asks for a cookie. At this point, everything is fine. Both of your brains are in that calm, connected, fist-closed state. You can use logic, and they can actually hear you. But then, you say no, and for your child's brain, that wave of disappointment is just too much. The emotional downstairs brain just floods the system, and bam, they have totally flipped their lid. Their logical brain is offline. They can no longer hear a single word you're saying about lunch being in 10 minutes. And now, remember those mirror neurons from the beginning? Here's where they come back to bite us. You see your child's complete dysregulation, their flipped lid, and your brain starts to mirror it. Their panic starts to trigger your panic. Their anger makes you angry. And before you even know what's happening, you flipped your lid too. And now you've got two people in a power struggle, and neither one has access to their logical brain. Nothing good is going to happen here.
So what are we supposed to do? How do we stop this cycle? Well, the goal isn't to win the argument. The goal is to get both brains reconnected so you can actually solve the problem. Okay, here's the plan. Step 1, and this is everything. You have to regulate yourself first. A child with a flipped lid literally cannot calm down on their own. They need to borrow your calm. So take a deep breath. Say, I'm feeling upset, you're feeling upset, let's both take a break. Then, once your lid is back down, you connect. You get on their level and you name the feeling for them. And only then, once both of you are calm and reconnected, can you actually solve the problem.
And let's be super clear about this. Acknowledging their feeling does not mean you're okay with the behavior. They are two totally different things. You can say, wow, I can see you are so disappointed about that cookie, while at the same time holding the boundary, and it's not okay to scream. You validate the emotion, which is always real, while correcting the action. You see, this whole approach isn't some kind of trick to get kids to listen. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about what our job is in those tough moments. It's about being a teacher, not a punisher. You know, so many of us react harshly because we're operating from these deep-seated fears. We worry that if we don't lay down the law right then and there, we're being permissive or failing as a parent. But we just saw the brain science. A child with a flipped lid is incapable of learning a lesson. You have to connect first before you can ever correct. Jane Nelson, who's the founder of Positive Discipline, just puts it so perfectly with this question. It really makes you stop and think, right? When a child is already struggling, making them feel ashamed or scared just adds more stress to their system, which only makes it harder for that logical brain to come back online so they can learn a better way. And here's my last and maybe my favorite tip. Teach this hand model to your kids. When they're calm, sit down and show them how their brain works. Give them this language. It creates this amazing shared vocabulary, and it empowers them to start noticing what's happening inside them. Can you imagine your child being able to say, Mom, I think I'm about to flip my lid? That changes everything. So I want to leave you with this final thought. When we understand what's really happening inside our kids' brains and inside our own, we can shift our whole perspective. We can move out of these endless power struggles and move towards a relationship that's built on empathy and real respect. And maybe we realize that the true goal of parenting isn't really about controlling our kids at all, but about staying connected to them no matter what.